Hello, and welcome to
Russell and Josh's mathematical football game.
You Are the Coach for a Football Team at their first ever Super Bowl. The score is 49-28 and your team is losing. There are only 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If you don't come up with a way to help your team win the Super Bowl, your team will lose and get fired. You're on a timeout and are coming up with a plan. What can you do in these breaks to help win the game?
Once again, the score is 49-28 and you're losing, and you have 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter to get your plan in action to help win the game for your team. What are you gonna do? Also, the best players have all been hurt, so you actually have a really good chance.
One scenario is
You come up with a plan to use the LCM. The LCM of 28 and 49 is 196. If you divide 196 by 7, since your team always gets the extra point, you get 28. Since 28 divided by 7 is 4, it means that you have to get 4 more touchdowns at least to win the game. You double check your work. 28 plus 7 equals 35, plus 7 equals 42, plus 7 equals 49. And with the 4th touchdown and extra point, you win the game. Your team won their first Super Bowl 56-49. This also means that you have about a minute for each touchdown you need to score, since the other team is probably also going to be on offense for about a minute. All you need to do is keep that plan in motion and keep the other team from scoring anything in the next 8 minutes, which is pretty easy since your defense is really good.
another scenario is
You come up with a plan that involves comparing fractions. You ask everyone on your team how much they want to run for each down. One person says 1/3 of the field, another person says 2/4 of the field, and another person says 65/100 of the field. Since there are multiple answers, you decide to have your team vote. The vote is split evenly, so you decide to take it into your own hands. You decide to do the one that covers the most ground, but first you have to make all the denominators the same, otherwise it'll be harder to find out. You figure out the LCM of 3, 4, and 100, which are the denominators, is 300. To convert the fractions, you have to find out how many times the 3 of 1/3, the 4 of 2/4, and the 100 of 65/100s go into 300. You find out that the 3 goes into 300 100 times, so you multiply the 1 of 1/3 by 100 and it becomes 100 over 300. Then you figure out that the 4 goes into 300 75 times, so you multiply the 2 of 2/4 by 75 and it becomes 150 over 300. Last, you figure out that the 100 goes into 300 3 times, so you multiply the 65 of 65/100 by 3, and it becomes 195 300ths. Now that you have the same denominator for all of the numbers, you compare them and see which one covers more ground. Since 195 300ths is bigger than 100 300ths and 150 300ths, you go with it. With this plan, you eventually end up scoring and eventually win the game to get your first Super Bowl ring.
another scenario is
You come up with a plan, but it involves using decimals. You only need 1 more touchdown to win the game, and you're going to use decimals to do it. You look at how much you've run so far. So far, you've run 2/10 of the field, so you turn that into 0.2 if it's 1 equaling the whole field, or 20.0 if it's by each yard of the football field. There are 100 yards. On second down, your quarterback throws the ball 3/10 of the field, which is also 0.3 if it's 1 equaling the whole football field, or 30.0 if you're going by each of the 100 yards of the football field. Either way, your top receiver gets tackled by a 250-pound guy and breaks his arm, leg, and collarbone. In all, you've run 5/10 of the field. It's also 0.5 because of explained reasons, or 50.0 because of explained reasons. Since your best receiver is going to the hospital, you bring out your best halfback to gain you some yards. Your quarterback hands off the ball and the halfback runs 4/10 of the field, which is 0.4 because of explained reason, or 40.0 because of explained reason. but the halfback breaks his arm and has to be sent to the hospital. In all, your team has run about 9/10 of the field so far, which is 0.9 or 90.0 for reasons explained. Then all of a sudden, on 4th down, the most risky down to do anything, your quarterback yells hike, fakes the ball to the bad receiver and runs it. Once he gets right in front of the end zone, he does a Cam Newton jump over the free safety and lands in the touchdown and scores with 2 seconds left on the clock, winning the game for your team. Now that your team has run 1/10 of the field, or 0.1 of the field, or 1.0 of the field, they have won. Your team has run 10/10 of the field, which is also 1.0 or 100.0, or the whole field.
Another scenario is
Adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying positive and negative fractions. You tell your starting quarterback to run the ball. Your quarterback rushed for 1/10 of the field. So, 10/10, which is the full length of the field, minus 1/10, which is how much your quarterback ran for, equals 9/10. So that's how much of the field you have left to run. But sadly, your quarterback broke his hand when he got tackled. After that, your backup QB makes a pass to 4 of your receivers and they have covered 4/10 of the field. How much yardage did each receiver get? You divide 4/10 by 4/1. 4 divided by 4 equals 1, and 10 divided by 1 equals 10. To put that in a full fraction, it would be 1/10, which is how much each receiver covered from the whole field from each pass they got. After doing this math to see how much field you have left, you find out you have 5/10 of the field to cover. 2 of your players, so they both ran the football for 1/10 of the field. So you add both of these numbers and see that your 2 players have ran the ball for 2/10 of the field. So you now have 3/10 of the field to go. Your running back runs the ball for 2/10 of the field, but your offensive lineman held one of the defensive tackles and the ref called a hold. The ref takes away negative 1/10 of how much yardage your running back just ran. So in total, you have 2/10 of the field left to run, or pass. Your running back rushed for 0.5/10 of the field, which is equivalent to 5/100. And if you simplify 5/100, you would get 1/20. To make the denominators even, you would have to multiply 2/10 by 2/2, and you will get 4/20. And in order to see how much field you have left, you have to subtract the amount of field that your running back just ran by the amount of field that you had left originally, and you get 3/20. You run the ball again, but this time you get set back 1/20 of the field. So you are back to 4/20 of the field left until you score a touchdown. You make a pass to 2 of your receivers, each for 1/20 of the field. If you add up the amount that they both caught the ball for, it equals 2/20. 2/20 is how much of the field you needed left to score. So, with that being said, your team scored a touchdown using your mathematical plan and won.